Hello guys, welcome back to Gamers Unchained. Today we'll be testing Apex. In this video I'm not only going to show you how the game performs, but also how to optimize it. We'll be using a GTX 1060 as well as a Core i7 6700K and a simulated Core i3 6300 as well as 16 gigs of RAM. For more details on the specs, please check the description. Let's have a quick look at the settings. We are running at a native 1080p resolution with a field of view of 90, VSync is disabled, adaptive resolution FPS target 0, TSAA for anti-aliasing and every other setting maxed out. The reason I have the texture streaming budget maxed out as well is because I wanted the absolute worst scenario for the GTX 1060. But from my testing I haven't seen any discernible difference between 6 and 8 gigs of memory budget. Texture popping only becomes noticeable if you go any lower than 3 gigs, but under these settings the memory utilization will still go higher than 3 gigs, at least on my card. Though nowhere near the 5.9 we see here with an 8 gigs memory budget. Once on the ground, the frame rate remains between 40 and 60 FPS, but it can go as low as 35 during some heavy firefights with lots of smoke and alpha effects going on, and as high as 90 in some simpler scenes. On the CPU side, things look a lot better. Utilization rarely goes above 50% and most of the time it sits around the 30% mark. All the 8 threads on the i7 are being taken advantage of, which means it should translate well to 6 and 8 core CPUs as well. To maintain a frame rate consistently above 60 FPS, we'll need to do some tweaking. Under the video settings, I've turned the adaptive resolution FPS target to 61, set the texture streaming budget to 6 gigs, ambient occlusion quality to medium, sun shadow coverage, sun shadow detail and spot shadow detail to low, disable dynamic spot shadows and set effect details to medium. This will allow us to stay above 60 FPS without having the adaptive resolution blurring the image too often. As we can see, now it's holding up really well. And it will hold up really well even during heavy fights because of the adaptive resolution as well as the effects set to medium. Next, we'll have a look at our simulated Core i3, and lastly, we'll try to reach 144 FPS. As you can see, the Core i3 is being strained to its limit, but it's still holding up above 60 FPS. The CPU usage will vary throughout the testing, but it will remain always high. The performance will hold up during most of the testing, but there is an instance or two where I've seen the frame rates drop to around 50 FPS. So if you have an i3 6300 or better, consider yourselves lucky because this game will run very well. Initially I planned on testing an i5 as well, simulated just like the i3, but there's no point in doing it because we are GPU limited, so the i5 would yield the same results as the i3. In the attempt to run the game at 144 FPS, I went back to the Core i7, turned everything to the lowest possible, set the resolution to 720p and the adaptive resolution to 100, which is as high as it goes unfortunately. Still, I've only managed a minimum of 90 FPS, though once you reach the ground the frame rate will vary between 100, 120 and even reaching 144. In conclusion, I'll add that if you want to run this game above 60 FPS in its current state, you'll need at least a GTX 1070 or equivalent. Maybe some patches or drivers will improve the performance in the future, but for now this is the state of the game. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe and leave a comment, tell me how it runs for you. Thanks for watching and take care everyone.